Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1814, the bucket list part 2. So yesterday we talked about some suggestions for, sometimes just phones just drive you crazy. We talked about some ideas for putting things on your bucket list, and bucket list not just being travel stuff. So yesterday and today we are not talking travel stuff. We're talking other stuff. Things like, yesterday we talked about personal development, health and wellness, creativity and hobbies, social and relationships. Today we're going on with the list because I got a few here written down. So we're going to start with financial and professional one, and on this one, let's just dive right in. So, well, first of all, how did your bucket list go yesterday? Did you guys get anything written in your bucket list? What sort of things did you put on your bucket list? Just let us know in the comments below. It would be really, really cool. Let's see. Okay, so number one on financial and professional is start a business. Launch a startup or a side business allows for creative freedom and potential financial rewards. Does every startup succeed? No. But how do you know if it's going to if you don't? I don't know. Things are just popping up on my screen. If you don't give it a go. Number two, invest in real estate. Purchase a property as an investment. And there's all sorts of different investment type things out there. There's the fix and flips. There's the buying property and renting it, turning it into an Airbnb. There's investments you can make in commercial sites as well, where you don't fund the whole thing, but you invest money into a commercial project to help it come to completion and that sort of stuff. Achieve financial independence. Set and reach financial goals for independence, which offers you freedom and options. Freedom of choice. I like that one. Let's see. Write a will and plan estate. Write a will and estate planning. Let's ensure your affairs are in order for peace of mind. Yes, it definitely helps when that is done. When somebody passes, to know that you've got their final wishes written out there, things are all planned, and it makes things go a lot smoother in the thing. Let's see. Publish your work. Get your writing, art, and other creative work published. It leaves a legacy. Yes, we like leaving legacies. Become debt-free. Become debt-free, provides peace of mind. Buy and or build your dream home. Creates personal sanctuary. And yes, my dream home I know exactly what it's going to look like. I know it's going to be on a lake. Where is the lake? I have no clue. All I know is that my log cabin is going to be a log cabin. It's going to be sitting on a lake with a little bit of land in front of it down to the lake shore, and then across the lake in the east. So my cabin faces east. Across the lake is mountains that I sit out on the front porch. It's got a 360-degree wraparound porch on it. And I sit on that porch and I look out across the lake, and I can watch the sun come up over the mountains in the morning. Then in the evening when I sit down there, I can watch the sun setting on the mountains. And people go, sitting on the mountains? Yeah, you get the different colors coming down the mountains as the sun starts going down and things like that. And if there's clouds behind the mountains, you get all those spectacular sunset. Sometimes the best sunset is looking away from the sun. There's times around here in Arizona where when I'm out walking Zephyr at night, and you can see the sun setting over there on the hills, because I'm facing east right now. So I see the sun setting over the hills back there, and I turn around and there'll be clouds in the east that are putting on a spectacular light show, with the sun setting against the clouds. So yes, I definitely have my sanctuary planned out and everything else, including when you walk down the little trail and you go to the barn RV B&B out the back there, which is part of the whole compound there. You could invest in a startup which supports innovation and potential returns. And I know people who invest in startups, and sometimes they just loan the money and they work out a payment for it to get back. Sometimes there's equity involved. We will loan you the money for a certain percentage of the ownership of the business. So there's different ways that you can do all of that too. Just watch Shark Tank. It's the best way I can think to describe. Just watch Shark Tank. Adventure and experiences. So that was the financial and professional stuff. Adventures and experience. Perform in front of an audience. Sing, dance, or act on stage. It pushes personal boundaries and entertains others. And yeah, I used to do that back when I was a teenager. I was in school plays, and I did enter a talent contest one time, and my music got screwed up when the person was playing it. I actually wanted somebody else to play it, but the music teacher was insistent on her playing it, and she screwed it up. So I never sang again. Oh no, I've done a couple of karaoke since then. I typically don't sing in front of people. As I start thinking about when I come on, when I'm doing the live or ending the live, I'm da-da-da-ding with some music somewhere. It's just flowing through the head. Number 2, attend a major event. Experience something like the Olympics, a major concert, or a significant sports event. Allows immersion in global celebrations. Now, my goal, one of my goals when I got here to the States is that there's all these different sports. US is sports made. We have a lot of sports in New Zealand, the main two being rugby and cricket. Which reminds me, and I totally forgot to try and get tickets for this, is that the All Blacks are playing Fiji. The New Zealand All Blacks are playing Fiji tomorrow in San Diego. I would love to go and watch that, because I will tell you this, before the game starts is going to be intense, because the Fijians have a version of a haka, and then you've got the New Zealand All Blacks doing their haka. And whether they will do it at the same time or they will take turns, I don't know which, but I will tell you this, it will be intense. And that's even before the coin toss and the kickoff and everything else. So if you're in San Diego and you're able and you've got tickets to go, enjoy the game. It is going to be awesome. I would love to go see that, but unfortunately, I'm still in Arizona. I think it's tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow night. I think it's tomorrow night. Anyway, and so one of my goals here, and while I'm living in the States here, is to go and watch some of the major games. So, like, I have watched an NFL game when we were living in Northern Virginia. We went and watched the Redskins at home playing the Carolina Panthers. They were the Redskins then. I got no idea what they're called. I think they've changed the name. I've got no idea what they're called now. Then when in San Diego, we went out with Brandon and Nadia one night, and we went and we watched the San Diego Padres hosting the Washington Nationals. Yeah, that game was double-sided figures for the Padres. And somebody told me later on when I was posting the score after seeing my first MLB game live, that's not a typical score for baseball. And I'm like, I don't care. That's what it was when I went to see it. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. So I still want to go see an NBA game, an NHL game. I think that's all of them. Is that all of them? There's probably some other ones in there as well. But those are the ones that I definitely are still on my list to go and see. So enjoy. And maybe one time I'll get to the Olympics as well. I like watching the gymnastics in the Olympics. Try an extreme sport, like go skydiving, bungee jumping, paragliding, which provides an intense thrill. Yeah, what can I say about that? Well, yeah, for the adrenaline junkies, yeah. You can also put in there like canyoneering, and you don't know what canyoneering is. It's coming down a canyon and you're abseiling, swimming, running, climbing. Yeah, you do all sorts of things in that one. Live in a different city or country. Done that, I've lived in 2 different countries and many cities. Experience life in a completely new environment. And yes, it is a completely new environment. Yes, you guys still have some strange things, like you drive on the wrong side of the road, and yes, you do your dates back to front. And but hey, I've been here 27 years, just over 27 years, and I still can't figure out which way to look when I go to cross the road. I have to actually, when I go to cross the road and there's no cars coming, I have to stop and physically think, if I was driving the car, which side of the road would I be on? And then I know which way to look. So yes, even after 27 years, I still get that one wrong. But yes, lived in 2 different countries and have lived in different cities and traveling around in the RV, getting to live in different areas around the US for certain amounts of time and things like that too. It's been very interesting and enlightening. Very different culture between the East Coast and the West Coast. And I was actually talking to somebody. We were talking about patient care when Brad was going through cancer. He did He did round 1 on the East Coast, round 2 on the West Coast, and the differences in the type of care that he received and the differences in how I was treated, being his caregiver, and the differences in the support groups that they have. So yeah, it was very, very it was like we were in 2 completely different countries. It really was. The difference in care and understanding and working with the patient and everything else, or how the patient was treated and everything else, night and day difference. It was so different. There was such different attitudes. The East Coast and the West Coast have very different attitudes towards things, and it was just interesting to see the differences between East Coast and West Coast when it came to something like treating cancer, a patient with cancer. I had one doctor that completely ignored me. He would not even acknowledge I was in the room, which I did not like. And as soon as we walked out the door, I said to Brad, we need to find a new oncologist. I can't even remember the guy's name. It was one of the ones in LA, one of the first ones in LA we had to go see, because Brad was due to have his 6-monthly scan. So we had to find a new oncologist to order it and all that sort of stuff. And the doctor walks in the room, walks straight over to Brad, introduces himself, holds his hand out, shakes it. I hold my hand out to introduce myself, and he completely just turned around and just walked away and went over to the counter and started flipping through things. And when I tried to say anything, I got shut down. So as soon as we walked out the door, I said to Brad, we need a new oncologist. We're not using this guy. He says, well, we'll just use him for the scans, and once that's done, we'll find another one. I went, good. Yes. And then we found another one, and we didn't like him either. So when we found out Brad's cancer was back, we weren't living in LA anymore, so we weren't going to go through to LA for his treatments. We were living down in San Diego at the time. And so a very dear friend of ours who has since passed on, Amy, she put us in touch with the right people down in San Diego, and we got really good care. It was just the difference in attitudes and things towards things. It was very different. So watch that one. Complete a personal challenge. Do something that pushes your limits, like a long distance hike or a significant fitness challenge. Something that's going to push you out of your comfort zone. There's somebody I'm trying to get on as a guest. She's already been on once. We're going to get her back, but I think I'm going to get her back 3 times, because there's 3 different adventures that she has done since she was last on here. And every time we talk, it's like, oh, we're going to get you on the show. Let's get you on the show. She said, well, I'm about to go and do this, and I'm about to go do that. And we will get her on the show. Even if I have to tie her to a chair for 3 nights in a row or something, we will get her on the show. And I've been on her podcast as well. So I can't wait for you to hear some of the adventures that she's been on in the last, not even a year. I'm trying to think. Has it been no, all 3 adventures she's done in less than a year. And they all talk about pushing your limits, doing things that you don't normally do, and things like that too. And traveling as a solo as well. So, and then I've got another friend who travels solo as well, and has a really cool business concept. So we're going to bring her on as well. So we got some exciting guests coming up. I just got to get our calendars to sync. Well, my calendar will sync with their calendar. It's just getting their calendars to sync with mine, since I'm on 7 days a week. Let's see. Here's another. This one I would like to see. A Broadway show exposes one to world-class performances. I have been in New York. I have seen a show in New York. It was not on Broadway. It was down at the, what was the name of that theater? We went and saw Blue Man Group. It was awesome. It wasn't on Broadway though, but yeah, we didn't go see a Broadway show. Mind you, we were there at Christmas time too, so there was, yeah, but Brad always said if he went to New York, he wanted to go see Blue Man Group. So we went to, I think it was the Ascot Theater, I think it's called. It's down on the southern end of the island there in Manhattan, right down this. We had to take a taxi to get there. But it was a really cool, we had front row seats. Brad's knees were touching the stage. That's how close to the front we were. And I warned my mum and dad beforehand that we were going to go to the show, and it would be loud, and they may get stuff thrown at them being sitting in the front row, and like things like food. And my mum turns around and says, well, can I throw it back? I went, no. I says, you will get rain ponchos to wear, and it is advisable to wear them. And she's like, well, I says, because they spray stuff around, they throw food and that sort of, and she's, well, can I throw the food back? I was like, no. So we're sitting there like Brad's knees are against the stage. That's how close to the front we were. And we had a blast. Although Mum with the beat, they had the bass going when we were there. And Mum was like, is this going to be like this the whole time? I went, yeah, but just wait. It'll get better. and they thoroughly enjoyed the show. So very much enjoyed that. But that was not a Broadway show. So yes, going to see a Broadway show would be really cool. Dine in a Michelin-starred restaurant for a culinary adventure. Oh, that would be good. I don't think I've ever dined in a Michelin-star restaurant. No, I haven't. But that would be really cool one. Witness a solar eclipse, which connects one with cosmic events. Yes, I've done that a couple of times in my lifetime. So it was really cool. I always remember in school, the very first solar eclipse we saw in schools, that we were given cardboard and we had to cut these little holes out. And then we had to hold the cardboard out in front of us, and then the sun would come down, the light would come down and shine through the holes in the cardboard and project what was happening in the sky on the concrete down below. That was a pretty cool way to see that. And rather than all these, they now have all sorts of different glasses and things for that. Swim with the Dolphins offers a unique multi-sensory experience that can create profound emotional connections, reduce stress, and provide lasting memories while fostering a deeper appreciation for marine life. I have a goal to go to the Bay of Islands and to swim with the dolphins in their natural habitat. I know that there's different places that you can go where they have pools, that you can go and you can do this swim with the dolphin experience, but they've got the dolphins in an enclosed area. I want to do it in the ocean with them in their natural habitat. And there's a couple of boats in the Bay of Islands that go out, and they have this net thing that's got poles at either end that goes out from the side of the boat, and you stay on top of the net, and the dolphins will swim up over the net area across your legs and that sort of stuff. So that's what I want to do. I want to swim with them in their natural habitat. I don't want to see the trained one. Seeing the trained ones is really cool, but I want to, and I've interacted with trained ones, but I just want to be out in the ocean with them and swim with them that way. Let's see. Then we go to things like philanthrop. That's what it's giving back in donations. Create a scholarship fund. Help others achieve their educational goals. That would be really cool. I wonder how you start one of those. Support a cause. Get deeply involved with a charity or a cause you believe in and make a positive impact. Organize a fundraiser. Help raise money for a good cause. Donate a large sum. Make a significant financial contribution to a cause or organization. Leave a legacy. Establish something that will continue to benefit others after you've gone. Now, those are all awesome things that are all on my list to do. Was that you? My dog is making noises. And that's different from the volunteering. This is getting involved in a financial way with these different organizations and things. She just cracks me up at times. Yes. So yeah, these are ways that you can give financially. And I have helped organize fundraisers. There were cruises that there's a couple of group cruises we did that benefited charities at the end of it. So we were able to, the cruise lines enabled us to add on, I think it was like $30 per person. And they were told that extra $30 is going to this particular charity. And then the cruise line came in and they didn't donate the full 30. I think they donated like $10 for every person or passenger. They have a different rating system, but the cruise line gave to the charity along with the $30 extra that we did over and above the cruise fare also got donated to a charity as well. So doing that was really, really cool. That was a lot of fun. So I love doing that sort of, so that's my helping organize a fundraiser. I had to organize the cruise that everybody went on that raised the money for the charities. And then you've got we're down to the last spot already. I want more. Lifestyle changes. Live off the grid for a period of time. Challenges reliance on modern conveniences. I love that idea, living off the grid. Yes. Kind of do that in an RV. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, you can go boondocking. When you go boondocking in the RV, you have nothing to hook up to. You got to rely on your generator, your solar panels, for your power, and make sure that your tank's clean, your water tank is clean, your clean water tank's loaded. Yeah, I didn't actually, the only boondocking I did was I've done that when I've parked in let's see, we parked in a cousin's driveway one time, but we didn't hook up the power. The only power we had to go off was the batteries that were already there. We were only there for a couple of nights, and for showering and that sort of thing, we went inside and used the bathroom inside the house to do our showers. We were only there for a couple of nights, so it was all good. It was all good. But I have been actual real boondocking. I totally forgot about this. When I was a teenager, we had the caravan, and the caravan is a camper trailer. It's that hard shell thing that you pull behind a car, not the fifth wheel, the other one that's got the triangular tow bar. And we actually went camping in the middle of the Wops. I have no idea where we were. I don't remember where we were. All I know is that the caravan did not have bathroom facilities, because any campground we went to, we had to use the ablutions block. The ablutions block had toilets, showers, laundry, and kitchen facilities in it. So you were able to go over there and do all that sort of stuff. Although we could cook in the caravan because we had a gas cooker and we had the tank of gas. So we could turn it on and do cooking there as well. And we just had these big white bottles. I've got no idea how much water they held. I just remember they were really, really, really heavy, and I hated having to go fill the things up. And we had those that would sit underneath the sink, and you could pump from that into the sink. And so whenever it came to doing, and that was basically our drinking water, but when it came to washing dishes and stuff, we'd have a basin that we would put all the dishes in, and with the dish soap and the tea towels and stuff, and we would walk over to the kitchen and we'd wash all of our dishes there in the kitchen. So that was kind of boondocking, but you still have facilities available. But there was one night that we went completely off the grid, and we had this one light that operated off a battery somewhere in the caravan, and gave us the light that we needed. We actually had a toilet tent, and it's just basically a square tent that's like about 6 foot high or something, maybe 7 foot. We had a collapsible toilet seat that had a bag that sat underneath it, but we didn't use the bag. Well, we used the bag to direct. Mum cut a hole out of the bottom of this thing, and so we actually had to dig a latrine, which I've got many years of experience doing that, and I swear I'm never digging another latrine again. Yeah, Girl Guides, I tell you, Girl Guide camps, somehow I would always end up on digging latrines. Judy, and we'd have this big tent that you would put up that had these like stalls in it, and there's just a trench underneath, and you had a pile of dirt behind, and the dirt was put into a pile behind where you would squat, and there was a roll of toilet paper hanging off a piece of string, and as you finish your business, you'd take the little hand shovel that was there and just sprinkle some dirt over your business and go outside, and they had a hand washing station there. But this was a little personal toilet tent, and Mum cut the hole out of the bottom of the bags and everything else, and we dug the hole. I dug the hole. We set this thing over it, put the tent up over top of it, and that was our toilet for the. We were actually only out there one night, I think it was. So 1 or 2 nights we were out. I think it was one night we were out there, and we didn't put the awning up on this awning, which is a tent that attaches to the side of the caravan. So the caravan makes a wall, and then you put a 3-sided tent up against that to make the fourth wall, to make the other 3 walls. So you got a 4-wall tent. We didn't put that up. We all slept inside the caravan that night. So yeah, it was cozy. Damn, I forgot about that. That was a lot of fun. I tell you, that was a lot of fun. It was a very interesting experience. Yes, living off the grid, going boondocking. Adopt a minimalist lifestyle. Simplify life and reduces consumerism. Yes, if you're living in something like an RV or a tiny house, you've only got so much space that you can put things. So you have to be very conscious about when you're out in your trip, well, especially in an RV, when you're out tripping around and everything else, about what you purchase. Do you have space for this? You know, like when I bought my computer, I was like, well, I really don't. I got to set up the computer. I needed the bigger screen. I needed it for work and everything else. And because the laptop was just, yeah. Could I have gotten a screen to attach to the laptop? Yes. But I couldn't get one big enough for that. So I just got one that had a computer in it. And I kept the box. And so whenever I was traveling, I would pack the computer into the box. It was safe. It would stay on the bed in the back of the RV, and it would be held in place with pillows and stuff. So it never moved off the bed. There was actually a small gap at the far side of the bed on the end wall where I could actually slot it as well if I needed to, but I actually didn't want it jostling around as much as it would there. So you actually learn to keep life simple. Just take the necessities that you need. Yes, you get a couple of luxuries. Like I had my 2 binders with my DVD player and with my DVDs in there. Did I buy small DVDs while I was out there? Yeah. I love my movies. What can I say? Books weigh a lot. So a lot had to be electronic. There were a couple of books that I would get that would be physical books, but most of the time it was electronic books. So I had to learn to read nonfiction on the iPad or the computer, or not on the Kindle, on the iPad or the computer, because books weigh a lot, and you've got a weight issue when you're driving an RV as well. So there's a lot of stuff you have to take into account when you're living in an RV. So you really do have to minimize what you take with you and what you can and what you purchase while you're on the road as well. Go vegan or vegetarian for a year, explore ethical eating and new cuisines. I would tell you this, I lasted 3 months. Yeah, I was dying. Not dying physically. I just craving red meat so much. I was craving chicken, I was craving fish, I was craving steaks, all of that sort of stuff. We actually went vegan/vegetarian when Brad had round 1 with cancer, and both of us lasted like 3 months. Making the meals was easy. Yes, we had some really good meals that we enjoyed. We ate and all that sort of stuff. But personally, I needed meat. I am O negative. I needed meat. I needed red meat. Yes, and we had somebody walking us through all the ins and outs of vegan and vegetarian and that sort of stuff as well. And I lasted 3 months, and once I started eating red meat again, my whole body was like, oh, at last! I had this big hallelujah moment. And I actually started feeling heaps better than what I had been for the last 3 months. I was very drained. We've been through this detox at the beginning of it. I was constantly tired, headaches, everything else. But the moment I started having red meat again, I said to Brad one day, I said, I can't handle this anymore. I said, I got to go get. And so I went and got some ground beef and cooked up some ground beef and threw that in with whatever we were having that night. And my body's just sort of like woke up and went, hallelujah. That's about as much as we're going to do from that. A complete digital detox resets relationships with technology. Absolutely love this. Do this as often as I can. If I'm not going to be working on a day, like Sunday is typically my no computer, no laptop, no iPad, no phone. Yes, I'm allowed to watch movies, but that's the extent of my technology. The only time I'm actually on the computer is when I'm here doing my podcast on a Sundays. But apart from that, I unplug. Sometimes I will do that on Saturday as well. I actually now have my phone. I've gone and done this on my phone. I have my phone set on Do Not Disturb most of the time. For some reason, maybe I need to go re-register. But all of a sudden, a couple of months ago, I started getting like 30 to 40 phone robo dialing or spam calls a day. 30 to 40 a day. Not to mention all the emails that come through, all the text messages and everything else. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't figure out why. And so I went in, and on an iPhone, it's called Focus. And I went and I put my Focus already is on in the evenings from like 10 o'clock in the evening to 7 o'clock in the morning. And there are certain people who are allowed to come through that. So I've made sure on those that there are certain people allowed to come through. And I thought, why don't let's just do it during the day as well. So I think it's like 8:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. So there's a 2-hour window at either end of the day where calls will come through. But that's after the spam calls, the robodial calls, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and by doing that, I'm getting away from being interrupted by my phone. So my phone sits over to the side a lot. But yeah, I do limit the amount of time that I have on the computer, on the laptop, on the iPad, on the phone, because it's just sort of like it can get really addictive. So doing a complete digital detox, I'm all for that. I mean, even when I go down to New Zealand, I don't get to use my phone much. It's just like text messages and things like that. And yeah, I've been down once since Brad passed. Twice since Brad passed. I went down 2018 for Christmas, and then went down in 2019 for my brother's 50th. But basically, I was off social media during that time. I wasn't working. It was kind of nice. It was really nice to be away from computers and things. If I've got a day off work, I don't get on the computer unless it's to do my podcast. Now, see, in 2019 and 18, when I went down to New Zealand, I was not doing my podcast at that point. It was after I came back in 2019. I had a 10-day period at home before my parents came over to join me, and we went off on my big first adventure in the RV. And it was during that 10-day period that Casey issued me that challenge to do a Facebook Live every day for a year. And so I started when my parents arrived, August the 1st, and took you all on the journey. And if there was no Wi-Fi signal or anything else, I recorded it at the time that I was supposed to go live every evening. And then as soon as we got Wi-Fi signal, that we uploaded. But there are times that when you're RVing, there's times that you'll be in places where there is no signal. What do you do if things get into problems? There's all sorts of things that you can do. If you don't have Wi-Fi signal, I've got a personal beacon that I travel with. And this personal beacon, if I activate it, it goes into the satellite world, does its little thing, notifies people that this beacon has gone off, somebody's in distress. And then it's got this chain down the thing of who you have to contact, who they have to contact, do they know where I am or anything else. First of all, they try and get hold of me on my phone. That won't work. So then they have a couple of people they have to call next, and then they have to get the search and rescue to come out. But they know where I am because I have my beacon and it pinpoints my location. Well worth the investment, especially if you are solo traveling and you're going into places where cell phone service is going to be questionable. There was a girl from New Zealand who she had a fall and ended up breaking like her pelvis and she ended up with all these different injuries and stuff, and they actually had to mount a search for her. But if she had that personal beacon, and it was in the Joshua Tree National Park, where she'd had these issues and she had to get airlifted out and all this, and she had these, I think broken pelvis was one of them. And so had she had the personal beacon, they would have found her a lot quicker. She's okay. She's actually been back home, healed up and everything else, and she's gone back and completed the trail that she was walking through the Joshua Tree National Park. But it was all over the news like in 2018 or 19, I think it was. But even my parents, when they go out on their tramps, hikes, they take a personal beacon with them as well. So there's times that you're out of cell range. You gotta have a way for help to get to you. Let's see. Live in a tiny home, embraces simplicity and efficiency. Living in a tiny home, living in an RV, similar things. Tiny home's a little more permanent. It doesn't move around like an RV does, but basically you kind of have the same space. Okay, in a tiny home, you get a little more space because you're a little wider, you're a little taller, you can have loft areas and things. So, but yeah, it really does, you embrace simplicity and efficiency. And when you're in an, speaking from RV experience, some places end up being multiple purpose, like my dining table. I ate my meals there. I did my work there. I now work in my office. I eat in the kitchen, in my kitchen area, my breakfast area. So yes, living in a tiny home does help you embrace simplicity and efficiency. And again, it's like living in an RV. You've only got a certain amount of space. So you become very minimalistic in your lifestyle, and you've got a certain amount of space to store stuff. And so it really helps you things down like that. And the last one, I don't know if I will ever get there, is grow your own food. It connects you with nature and sustainability. I love the idea of fresh fruit and vegetables, being able to walk out into your own gardens and things and pick the vegetables to make your salads. I totally love that idea. And the reason I love that idea so much is because when I was a kid growing up, wherever we lived, my parents have had a vegetable garden of some sort. Some were elaborate, some weren't as big as others. And but with us kids, we were of Gen X. Gen X is here. We kicked out if the sun's out, it's not raining, you're outside. And sometimes you wanted a snack or anything else, but you want to live back in the house. So you'd go into the garden and you'd eat lettuce leaves, you'd pull up radishes and carrots and pull the pea pods off the pea vine and eat the pea and open up the pods and eat the peas out from inside. We knew which ones we weren't allowed to touch because we'd been told that. But we'd eat tomatoes off the vine. That's you pull them up out of the garden, you go to the garden hose and rinse them all off and eat them. Not a problem. I loved that. I love that idea. And there was nothing like I can still I haven't done this in years, but I can still taste it, is getting freshly baked bread, slicing it, butter on two pieces, and putting fresh tomatoes straight from the garden, slice it up, put it on there, a little bit of salt. Others like a little bit of pepper on there. I'm not a pepper person. Slam them together, and I tell you, there's nothing like fresh tomatoes on fresh bread. Oh, one of my favorite sandwiches was that one. And yes, there's ways that you can make your own butter. You can, I enjoy that sort of stuff. But I don't have the green thumb. And yes, Brad, even one time he decided we're renting a place in the first place we're living in San Diego. He comes home from, he decided, this is so funny. He decides he wants to grow tomatoes. And I'm like, well, don't look at me because I don't have a green thumb. He says, oh, it's all right. He says, I've got all the instructions here. He researched it all online and everything else and worked out what he needed and everything else. And he says, I'm going down to Home Depot to get some stuff so we can grow tomatoes. I went, okay. So he went off. He comes home like an hour and a half later and says, you're going to be really happy with what I've got. I'm like, okay. He pulls out these terracotta pots that he purchased. He's got the soil, the right soil to go in there for vegetables. He's got his little tomato plants, but he then pulls out, which I was so happy about. I will tell you this. Yes, I was excited to get fresh tomatoes, but my biggest excitement was he pulled out a charcoal grill, barbecue with charcoal, so we could have. And I'm so like, okay, I'm heading down the grocery store to get some steaks. We're having steaks on the grill tonight. This is one thing he would do all the time in when we were living in Virginia, is he would go and grill meat on the outside on the barbecue. I can't even figure out how to turn the thing on. He had the gas grill out there. He calls me up one day and says, hey, can you put the grill on for me? And it'll be up to temperature by the time I get home. I went, no. He's like, what do you mean no? I says, I have no idea how to turn it on. So while driving the 495 loop to get home, he's busy having to recall how he turns the grill on and pass the instructions along to me to get it. We finally got it on. It was almost at temperature by the time he got home, and he was able to grill the meat that night. But when he turns up with this charcoal grill, I was just like, I'm going to go get some steaks. And so I hopped in the car and went down the market and got some steaks and some other bits and pieces to go with our steaks, and went home, and he cooked me up steak. And I tell you, steaks on a charcoal grill are so different from steaks that are on a gas grill. There is just completely different flavoring, and I prefer the charcoal ones to the gas ones, but I will take the gas ones if charcoal's not available. I'm not fussy. So somebody else is cooking it. That means I'm going to get a perfect steak. But yeah, while I was down at the market, and the grill, the charcoal grill that he got cost him $10. It was on sale for $9.99. So he picked up. He says the bag of charcoal was more expensive than the grill. I'm like, I've got a grill. So yeah, we had a lot of steaks after that. It's just the little things. It really is. I miss having somebody cook steaks for me. I'm having to learn to do that. I've done one successfully so far. The others, they're okay. But anyway, growing your own food, absolutely love that concept, that idea. Totally on board with it. I just don't have a green thumb. Yeah. And I live in Arizona, and it gets so hot here in the summertime. I have no idea what to do with plants when it gets this hot, especially if you're growing vegetables and things like that. So yeah, that will be a whole new learning thing. That's a whole new learning thing. But yeah, if I can do anything with food, like meal, I love meal prepping. I love getting my meal preps done. I haven't, now my mum used to do canning. She hasn't done it in a lot of years, and I didn't really learn a lot from her because she didn't really do it that often, but she also did sometime when she made some homemade jam. I remember brewing the ginger beer. That was a lot of fun. When you're brewing ginger beer, you put raisins in there, and this is non-alcoholic ginger beer, and you know that it's ready because the raisin will go from the bottom of the bottle to the top. And us kids loved ginger beer, and so there was a place she had it stored in the garage, and I remember us kids going out there to check to see if the raisins were at the top yet, and we were very happy when those raisins got to the top. But I made ginger beer one time after I'd left home. It turned out not too bad. I'd have to make a bug for that. But yeah, there's all sorts of things. Like Brad and I wanted to go and learn to bake bread, because I can bake bread. It's just the outside turns out to be very crusty and a little hard, but the inside is soft and fluffy. And yes, so I've got to learn that ratio of time to get the fluffy inside with the softer outside. But, that was one thing that we'd always wanted to do together and we never got to do. But, growing your own food, those that have their own vegetable gardens and fruit trees and all that sort of stuff, hats off to you. Totally love that concept. Some reason the green thumb skipped me. But anyway, that's it. That's our list on different things. So you can go back and watch part 1, which covers personal development, health and wellness, creativity and hobbies, and social and relationships. And then today's one, we covered financial and professional, adventure and experiences, philanthropic, giving back, making significant donations and giving back, and lifestyle changes. So those are just some of the things that we've covered over the last couple of days in bucket lists. Hope you've enjoyed that. What's on your bucket list? Let us know in the comments below some of the things that are on your bucket list. Some of the things that, that list is nowhere near complete of all the things that you could possibly do. You're going to have your own things that don't even appear on this list. These were just ideas. So I'd love to hear your ideas. So leave them in the comments below so we can follow along and see what other people are coming up with ideas. And I've got stuff that I'm doing personally that are not on these lists. So, there's a world of options out there. So go out, enjoy, find some things to do to put on your list, and just make plans to get things off your list, because it's all about before the dirt nap and living your best life now. And you can live your best life now by getting stuff crossed off your bucket list. And just go out there and enjoy life. Life's made to be enjoyed. So go out, enjoy life, go get those things off your bucket list, have a big adventure. Life is one big, incredible, amazing adventure. So let's live our best life now until we slide in at the end and go, wow, what a ride. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m.